Hi guys, and welcome to FPS tutorial. The whole idea of this tutorial is for me to be able to collect all of these cubes that you have in here. But the other problem is if you dare collect any of the cylinder here, the system will actually count you down. So let me show you guys how it works. So if you notice up here, we have counter, the value is 0. And if I manage to collect all of the cubes, we have 1 collected. So let's collect another one. I have 2. Supposing I mistakenly collect any of these very cylinder, check that out. I've just lost. I've just lose 1. So let's collect the cubes and collect the other 2. I must collect at least 3 for me to go to the next level. There we go. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take you guys straight into Unity development environment, and we'll put one of these brilliant tutorial together. Let's do that now, guys. Hi guys, and welcome to an FPS tutorial of collectibles. I'm going to start by first of all, let's click on new project. Just for your information, I'm using Unity 6. Now I'm going to select from this very template here. I'm going to be selecting Universal 3D. You can select that from the template, or if you come to the core, you should be able to see the Universal 3D. Now let's give my project a name. I've then called that FPS Collect. I'm going to click on Create, just right here. Click on Create Project. There we go. Now my project is now coming up. Okay guys, the development environment is ready. But before I go any further, I'm going to go straight into Windows, and I will select Package Manager. And right there, I will then go straight to my asset here. And what I'm looking for is actually the starter asset. There we go. We now have the starter asset in place. But the one I intend to use, just because I like the character to actually keep down the collectibles, I'm going to select the third person here. And let's click on Import. There we go. And you see this dialog that pops up showing warning. All you just need to do is click on Install. And there we go. This install Unity package shows up. Just click on Import. And right there, finish importing the third person assets. If you want to have a look at it, we have it right here. That's the starter asset. Okay. The next thing I want to do is I'm going to also import another asset, and that is building apartments. You can actually import any other asset you want. I just want to import this because it's kind of like small. It's about 10 megabytes, which is good enough. So I want to click on import as well, and click on import again, and there we go. I'm going to just import one more asset. That's to do with the sky, all sky free, so that I can change the sky around. Right here, that's it. And it's about 320 megabytes. So the choice is yours if you want to go for it. So I'm going to go for it and just click on download. Okay, I do have download update here. So I'm downloading that for now. Okay, all sky free is ready. I'm going to click on imports. And there we go. Okay, I think I'm done with all the required assets, so we'll close that. Next, I'll come straight to the hierarchy here. Let's right click on it, or you can also drop down the hierarchy, and let's select 3D objects, and the object that I want is the plane. So I'm going to increase the size of that plane. You see where we have transform. You see here we have the inspector, underneath is the transform, and I'm just going to make that about, let's say about 50. The x-axis is 50 and the y-axis is 1 because it doesn't have any volume, and the z-axis I'm going to make that 50 as well. There. So if I click on run, this is what you guys will see. So let's just see how that's going to look like. Okay, because I have it on simulator, this is how it's looking, but I don't want that. I'm going to change that to games. So let's just run it again one more time so that you guys see the whole environment, how it looks like. There we go. Okay, now I want to change the sky and at the same time change the background setting. So and that's go back to the scene, and right here double click on all sky free. Right there inside the all sky free, I need, I think this one, yeah, that's it. So grab hold of the dip and just dump it there. There we go. That should change the sky now. So if I run it, you should be able to see the different color of the sky there. That's how the sky is looking. I'm also going to change this plane. You can use one of these. The choice is yours if you want, or you can just go straight to material and select a color for it, but I prefer this one. Next, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go straight into buildings, which I have here, building apartment. Select the building apartment, and inside the prefab you should have some buildings there. Look, those are the buildings that I intend to use. Unfortunately, the colors. So let's see if we can see the material. That's the material there. Let's see if we are able to change that. So I'm going to go in here. Let's see if we can change it. Go to Windows and select rendering and select rendering pipeline converter. Let's click on rendering and I'm going to initialize the converter, save, and initialize that as well. There we go. You see, we've successfully changed it. That's fine. All right, so hopefully my apartment should, there we go, and I have all the building apartment that I want. So I'm going to now just drag one of them, dump it right there. Yeah, and drag the blue one as well. Okay, it's looking good. All right, but they are both too small for what I intend to use it for. Let's click on the camera. I think the camera is hiding up there. Yeah, that's the camera. I can't see this. But first of all, let's increase the size of these three buildings. Just select it all and just make it, instead of one, I'm going to go for 4 by 4 by 4. All right, let's move it aside a little bit. It seems to be a bit huge. Yeah, that's okay. So I'm going to just select the camera. Instead of 0, I'm going to make that 180 so that it turns around. So let's, there we go. That's the camera. I can see the buildings now. All right. Okay, let's run it one more time. Just see how that's going to look. There we go, guys. Check that out. Right. So the next thing I'm going to do is I want to try and push these buildings away from the camera so that we can see a little more of the buildings. Okay, I'll move the camera a little bit more. Yeah, maybe about 80. Okay, you see here where we have the spectral, you can always use the field of view. All right, so the next thing I want to do now is, in fact, let's just see how this thing look like. Let's drag this camera here. I can see. That's good. That's good. So let's maybe select this and just move it a little bit. We want to add more buildings though. So we go press or right click on this and just select duplicate. Now we duplicate there, move it back and control B Add one more. Okay, so I'm going to have to settle for that for now. Alright, so let's keep going. Next, I'm going to come back to my project area here and let's select the starter assets there. Inside the starter asset, there's a folder called third person. Double click on third person and we want the prefab. Double click on the prefab. The one we're looking for is the player amateur, this very one. Grab hold of the player amateur, dump it on your scene. Okay, we have the player amateur here. I'm going to increase the size of that player amateur to something much more visible that we can see. Let's just increase, run it and see how that's going to look like. That is the player amateur there. So if I click, I can always move anywhere. Hold on the shift key and you can see it runs. Okay. Alright, that is fine so far. But as you can see, the player amateur actually went straight inside the building, which we don't want. So what I want to do now is, for each of the building, I'm going to add mesh collider. So let's stop it from running, stop, and let's select all of these buildings. Now come right here inside the inspector, add component, we'll look for mesh collider for all of them. So that should take care of that. So if I run it one more time, so in fact, let's increase this player amateur to about 3 by 3 by 3, or maybe 4 by 4 by 4. Okay, run. There we go. All right. So let's run towards a building and see if it can go right through the building one more time. Okay, that's very, very impossible. Good. Next, the next thing I want to do now is, as you can see, as the player amateur run around the area, what's happening is, before that goes, now we can see it anymore. So I'm going to just put together a few lines of code so that we can add a camera. We can get this camera to follow this player around. So come right in here. So just right click and let's select create, and in there I'm going to add a folder. So that folder will just have my own script, and just double click on that very script, right click again, create, and let's select mono behavior scripts, and there I'm just going to call that camera controller. There we go. Now double click on your camera controller to open that up. Alright, my coding environment is ready. So what I'm going to do now is, you see, let's get rid of these comments and just enter a public game object in there. Public game object. And this very game object, let's just call it player. Yeah, I'll do player, amateur player. And next, I'm going to create another private vector3. There we go. And this vector3, we can just call it offset camera. Next, I'm going to come in here. Let's grab hold of this offset camera, paste it inside. Void start, that will be equals. Let's say transform dot position, so I might as well accept that. And that will be equals minus the player dot transform dot position. So that should take care of that. Next, get rid of this. I'm going to get it updated inside the void update. Let's say transform position, accept that. That is going to be equals this player here, transform position. I'm going to add it to the offset camera. So let's just paste that in there and say plus there. So with that taken care of, that should be able to follow the camera around, or the camera should follow the player around. So let me save that. and we can always minimize that. Okay, it's compiling now. It's ready. So let's come in here, select the camera, the main camera, drag the code that we just put together, drop it in there. Now you can see this variable is asking me, who do you want me to follow? Okay, so I'm just going to drag my player amateur and just dump it right in there. So let's try it out. Run. There. So as I move along, as you can see, the camera is now following the player straight to the building or wherever the player wants to go to. Let's make sure the player cannot go into the building. It's right here. Okay, that's fine. All right. Next, since that is taken care of. Okay, guys, the next thing I'm going to do now, I'm going to insert sound there. Then before I will continue, folder, just call that sound. And let me grab hold of the sound I intend to add. I don't think I'm going to use the explosive, but let's drag and drop anyway. There we go. So the sound that I intend to use, they're all there. Good. The next thing before I do any other thing, let's add sound. This would be the audio source underscore wins. Okay, that is the winning sound. I'm going to drag this sound that says win, drop it there. And I'm going to create another audio that I'll call lose underscore lose or loser, whatever. Now drag the alarm sound, drop it in there. Here we go. Those are the two sounds I intend to use. That should be audio source. So that I don't mix that up. Audio source. I have my two sounds in place. Next, I'm going to go into my starter assets again. Now double click on this folder that is called third person. And you see the scene. Double click on the scene. Just want to show you guys the scene. So double click on play game and click on save to save whatever I have in there. The reason why I'm showing you this is going to be for my second level. So the first level, the second level. There we go, guys. So if I run it, this is what you will see. Okay, the whole idea is for you to be able to transform from first level to second level once you finish collecting the cubes. There. So I'm going to go back into my first level that is here. If you go to the scene, you should be able to see it here. Look at it, that is it right there. So my first scene is right here. Now, the reason why I'm showing you those scenes is because I'm going to go straight into file now. And let's select build property, build profile. Inside the build profile, you see right here, we say scene list. The first one is this one, it's right there. The second scene is going to be that of the starter assets. Let's go into the third person, click on scene, and that is it right there. Playground, drag playground, drop it in there. So I have my two scene right in there. So that is fine now. If you notice earlier on, when I run the game, you hear a sound, a losing sound. There. Okay. What I should have done is, you see the audio source. You see where it says play on awake? Uncheck that. Go to the loser one, play on awake, make sure it's unchecked as well. So you run it and let's see what's going to happen next. There, no sound anymore. Now let's go back into our hierarchy here. Right in here, I'm going to select the hierarchy. I need UI. Look at it, UI. And go right down. You see where we have legacy. Click on text. There we go. That would be my winning text. So let's just call that. Okay, this will be for the counter, the one that will count how many collectibles we have. Let's give it a name here. I'll call it count text. And I'm also going to change the text. Font size, I'm going to make that 24. And I will then get it center. You see where we have a line, center, and hit on center there. Then the color, let's change the color to something we can see. So maybe yellowish, red, something like that. Yeah, that's fine. And close that. So I need to create another one that I will call winning text. So right click on that and click on duplicate, change the name of these to win text. And come right down here and just change this one to win as well. Okay, that is fine. You can change the color of the winner. You can change that to maybe blue. Alright, that is fine. Close that. Okay, this is how the both texts are looking. But let's get them arranged properly. Get rid of this. And you see here where we have 2D, click on 2D. And if you zoom out a little bit, what you will see, you should be able to see the text. Now, grab hold of the move tools here, drag the win text, move it right up there. That is fine, something like that, so that should do. And let's get it centered as well. You see where we have rect transform, click on that and make sure I align it to the right. Okay, up right there. I don't want it to stretch, so I'll just leave it like that. Then the second one, which is the counter, move the counter up there as well. And I can get it centered. Click on that and just get it to the. Let's see how that's going to look like on my. Okay, that is the count there. The win should be there as well. Let's see if I move it in, and I just want to see how it's going to look like. Look at the win. All right, let's move that. Okay, that is fine now. So get rid of the 2D. And let me go back into my scene there. Double click on the player amateur. There we go. Now, I'm going to go back to the hierarchy there. Click on the hierarchy and I'm going to create an empty game object. So this empty game object, in there we have my collectibles. Okay, collectibles there. Alright, game object collectibles. Now right click on the game object collectibles, select 3D object. Let's add a cube. You have one cube here, and this very cube, I'm going to change the rotation to 45 by 45 by 45. There we go. And this very cube, I just changed it, the name to collectible. And I'm also going to create what is known as add. Come in here, drop that down, click on add, and I'm going to click on plus collect and just click on save. Okay, now select my collectibles and I'm going to tag it up with collect. That is it right there. Very good. Next thing I'm going to do to this very cube that I call collect, I'm going to add box collider that comes with it. A default box collider comes with it, but you see where it says is trigger, make sure that is checked. I will also add an object here, and that is going to be rigid body. There we go. Okay, box collider for the cube, make sure this trigger is checked. Add a rigid body, and on that very rigid body, see where we have use gravity. I'm going to uncheck that. Rigid body, use gravity, unchecked. That is good. Now I'm going to do one more thing. Let's add a line of code. just to make it spin around. So I'm going to come in here inside my script folder, right click, create script, and let's select, and I'll just call that rotator. Now double click on rotator to open it up. And now inside the rotator here, I'm going to get rid of all of this. And here, let's say transform. And that is going to be, let's say, new vector 3. Accept that. The new vector 3, that is going to be, let's use the following argument for it: 15 by 30 by 45. And I'm now going to multiply that by time dot delta time. So accept that. There we go. Save that. And I'm going to just go back to Unity here, and let's get it to compile. Now select the rotator and drop it on the cube. There we go. And that's it. The rotator is now on the cube. So let me run it. I expect this cube to be rotating. Check that out. All right, that is fine. So that's going to be the item I expect this guy to collect. So let's add, for this cube, I'm going to just drag these collectibles and convert it to a prefab. I can then paste it anywhere I want. So the drag drop. So once you hit on it or run into it, it should automatically get it counted as a win. So let's see. We have all of the cubes there. So the whole idea is for him to walk into them, click, okay, like that, and just get a win. Repeat the same thing. All right, that is good. Now we need to do one thing. All of these cubes, they should officially be in here. You can add as many cubes as you want. And I'm also going to create some other cubes that will be, those other cubes that I will add, those will be the cube that should not be collected at all. So I'm going to right click and let's go to 3D, select, grab all of the cylinder. There we go. Just paste the cylinder there. And for this, as for the cylinder, I'm going to add, let's add something to it. Maybe, first of all, we give it a name. You can just say collect me not. Do that again. Collect me not. Okay, and let's create a tag for it and click, and let's call it no collect not. Save. There we go. All right, we have collect me not and no collect me. I also need to add rigid body to that, so make sure it's selected. Come right down here, add a rigid body and get rid of use gravity. I think it officially has its own collider here, so maybe we should just, let me use this. If it doesn't, yeah, I'm going to try this capsule collider. Let's make sure it's checked. All right, that is done. Next thing we need to do, I'm going to have to put together another lines of code. So let's right click here inside my scripts folder and let's select mono and let's just call that player controller. Gonna be player controller. And first and foremost, I'm going to import the following. The following library. Come right down here. Paste .ui. That will enable my text to work. Without that, the text will not work. So that is done. The next one is going to be Unity UI dot scene manager. Without the scene manager, you will not be able to move from one level to the other. Okay, so make sure that those two libraries are in place. Next, right here, I'm going to create the following variables. So I'm going to say public. That will be for the text. Copy. Let's paste that in there. Get rid of the. So public text, and that is going to be count text. That's one. I also need another one for the win text. So I can all just put a comma. The next one is going to be win text. There we go. All right. Now another one is going to be for my audio. So public audio source, and that will be winner, comma, loser. Okay, for winning sound and for losing sound. Right, so next, let's create private. Let's say private rigid body. So that's going to be private integer count. So that will count how many times we actually collide on an object. Okay, now that that is done, when the system starts, I want the following to happen. So let's say count, we assign the value of 0 to it. At the initial stage is nothing. Then we say win. My win text up here, yeah, nothing should be displayed on the win text when this system is okay. Let's say win text dot text, that will be equals nothing as well. There we go. Those two are taken care of. Now we need to use a function that is known as onTrigger enter. Okay, so here I'm just, instead of update, I'm going to say onTrigger enter, and that is going to be, let's say, objects collider orders. Yeah, that's correct. And that is going to be the following. So if the object that you collide on, if object dot game objects, so if other game objects, right, we said that is set active dot set active, and that very game objects is called. Now we need to make sure the right, I'm calling the right name. So let's go into my editor here. Now look at the name. Can you see that? Collect. So I'm going to use that officially. It must be official. And the other one is, oh, the other one is not attached even. Let's attach the other one. NoCollectMeNot. All right. So let's go back in here to our code. Let's the code. Yeah. So the name is collect. The first one is known as collect. Okay. Now, if it is collected, we now want the game object set active will be false. So we just grab all of this. Active, that becomes false. Okay, in that case, counter is going to be plus equals 1. Count plus 1. So let's correct this. This shouldn't be set active. That should be dots compare tag. Yeah, it should be comparing the tag. Sorry about that. Okay, now in that case, we now want it to add to that. And at the same time, I also want this winning sound, this very sound. So winner dot play. Okay, there we go. All right, the first one is taken care of. Else, else if, might as well just copy this. Else if it is the object that is called NoCollectMeNot. No collect me not. Okay, NoCollectMeNot. Okay, it must be the right spelling and so on, else there will be an issue. Okay, NoCollectMeNot. In that case, that means this will be false, but the count I want it to delete. Subtract 1 and play the losing sound. Copy, paste that right here. There we go. Now, the last part of it, we need to be able to tell the system to tell us if we are winning or not. So I'm going to come right underneath here. Let's say void. And we call this set count text. Set count text. In this case, the set count text, which is right up here, this one, we want it to display something for us. There. And we just say dot text. That is going to be equals, then we can say count column. So here we add the amount of text that we have in there, but it has to be converted into a string. So count dot to string. There we go. So that will display whatever we have in there. So I'm now going to use an if statement. If count is greater than and equals to, let's just go for 3. 3. If it's greater than equals 3, and I want the winning text to display something for me. So this one here, win text dot text, and that will be equals you wins. Okay, or you win. There we go. Once this is done, we also want the system to automatically go to the next stage. So in that case, this is where we have to now use the scene manager, this one here. So it says scene manager. So paste that right underneath here. Scene manager dot load scene, and it says scene manager dot get active scene here, and that active scene we might as well just say, you can add a 0, but I think it's much better by saying the build index. The build index is much better. It's a +1. Okay, because it's in index, so +1, just add 1 to it, that's fine. All right, that is fine, guys. I think I finished. So let's Let me show you guys the code. Take it from the top. Get rid of this. Just bring it down. I'm going to save it. Now, before I do anything, I'm going to have to call this my sets count text. I'm going to call that in here. Come right here. Just call that. See, that's why it's grayed out, because the function wasn't used by anybody. I'm also going to call it inside the start. So go here, call it in here as well. And my startup function, call it right in there as well. There. Okay. Function is called here. It is called here. If it's not called, you will not see any message that says you win or you lose. Save that. And let's go back to our development environment. So minimize this. There we go. Now, let's add this very player counter. I'm going to add it to the player amateur. Bring it down, drag it, drop it right in there. All right. So we have these 4 variables. It's asking me what goes in here. This is for the text, count text. The count text is right in here. Grab hold of that, drop it in there. The win text message there. Then the audio source wins here. Loser sound there. Okay. Now let's try it. Or before that, I can always add more than one of these. Yeah. Let's convert it to prefab as well. Drop it in here and just drag as many in there as well to cause more problem for whoever is playing. If you get click on any of that, you should lose a point. So let's run it and see how that's going to work, or how it's going to play out. There we go. Now let's try it out. You see, you have just lost a point. Okay, let's see if we can win a point. Let's go to the next one there. Very good. You are C1 down. 2. And let's see. 3. There we go. And that takes you to the next level. Okay, I believe you guys understand the whole idea. So you can always just add more cubes here on this very level and take it from there. Okay, so one more thing that I just want to do is see my camera. I need it to be a little bit further away, so let's just move it back a little bit. And those cubes, select it all and just drag them close to the buildings. These guys as well, the invalid cubes, you drag them here. So with that, guys, I'm going to call it the end of this collectibles FPS tutorial. I suppose you guys enjoyed, and please do subscribe to my channel, and you can also join to become the channel. You all have a nice day now, and bye for now.